Alright, introducing another new house on the channel that I've never spoken about before, and this is a brand that I've known about for some years ago. I believe they rebranded and relaunched fragrances this year, and I was looking at their fragrances on a database, including Sephora, and it looks like they've launched quite a bit of fragrances this year, a lot. And they just recently launched a fragrance called Tangerine Boy, this one right here. So I decided to make a video about the fragrances and let you know all about the brand Phlur and their fragrances and what I think about them. So if you're curious to learn about Phlur and their fragrances, I've got 5 of them here in this video, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yeah, today I'm talking about Phlur fragrances. Are you a fan? Have you discovered their fragrances? As I said, they sell them at Sephora. They come in 2 sizes. There's a 10 ml for 26, a 50 ml for 96. They're Eau De Parfum concentrations. I never got to smell the previous fragrances before the rebrand, and I don't even know why they rebranded. I have no idea what happened to the brand, but they're cranking out a ton of fragrances. And the latest one is Tangerine Boy, created by Jerome Epinette. He creates fragrances for Byredo and a lot of fragrances for Wilhelm Parfumery as well. The cool thing about these fragrances are very colorful bottles, as you can see, and they have these nice heavy-duty caps, very magnetic caps, and also the sprayers are really great. But the way I'm doing the video is 5 fragrances, and I'm putting them in order of ones that I like at the top and the ones that I don't like on the bottom. So we're going to start off with Tangerine Boy. That's what triggered me to do this video. So the initial blast for Tangerine Boy is so refreshing and so uplifting that it makes me want to smell it more and more. It's tangerine, obviously. It's a citrus, but it's got that unique tangerine flavor here. It's totally prominent. It's really the prominent note in this particular fragrance, and it kind of wakes up your senses, gives you a happy feeling, sunshine and things like that. So I tested this fragrance out several times during really cold days here in San Francisco, and I was pleasantly surprised at how great it smells. Just gives you that kind of like boost of energy, like when you first wake up in the morning and spritz this stuff on, like it was right next to my bed. So it kind of wakes up your senses, as I said. But this is a fragrance that features notes of lemons, ginger, black pepper, apple, tangerine, jasmine, amber, and moss. So there's definitely lots of citruses here, of course the lemons, but what really is shining here is tangerine. This is such a juicy fragrance. Just imagine that tangerine that you've bought and you're kind of squeezing them to make juice with it, and it's the kind of tangerine that has a lot of juice in it, so it's not the dry kind that hardly squeezes out any juice. That's how this fragrance is. It's a very juicy, really wet, drippy, fruity kind of a fragrance, and I think this is going to be perfect in the heat. It just totally wakes up your senses, as I said. Really uplifting and exciting and really happy, bright sunshine. I really liked it, really liked it, and the way it smells all natural. It does have a bit of floral touches in here, and it definitely has some fruitiness as well, but eventually it settles to kind of an earthy, amber, woody fragrance. Definitely worth it, I think. $96, as I said. Sephora sells these, and sometimes they have promotions if you guys shop from there. But really love the way this one smells. One other thing I should say, there is a bit of a candy-like quality in there as well. A bit like hard citrus candies that you know sometimes you have in a little container, and you put it in your mouth and you're sucking on it and things like that, and that flavor of the tangerine is there. You know, they're shaped like little citrus, what do you call it, when you peel the citrus, so that definitely reminds me of that as well. Okay, up next, going to the fragrance Lost Cause. It comes in kind of a sky blue bottle, as you can see here. This is these are all 2022 fragrances, by the way, 2022 launches. They've launched a lot. I don't know what happened. Like I said, I don't know what caused the brand to rebrand and launch so many fragrances in 1 year. I think they're trying to catch up or something. But this is a fragrance created by Clavien. I don't know this particular perfumer, but this is a fun and citrusy fragrance as well. For me, even though the tangerine was a love, I really loved that. we're not breaking any new ground with any of these fragrances. I've smelled so much stuff. So some of you that discover a fragrance from a brand for the first time and you haven't really dug into fragrances might think that some of these fragrances are some of the most amazing fragrances ever. I've smelled tons of fragrances like these, and the first two fragrances, maybe the third one as well, will remind me of fragrances from a brand called Atelier Cologne. So they have that kind of freshness about them. They were known for citrusy fragrances, and that's exactly what we get here with Lost Cause. It's Italian bergamot with cassis leaves, crisp apple, rhubarb, fresh freesia, jasmine, lily of the valley, mate, orris concrete, vanilla orchid. So this is once again a very green, fresh fragrance. Loads of Italian bergamot and loads of greenness from the cassis leaves. And then of course we've got some floral greenness as well from the lily of the valley in this particular fragrance. And then the earthiness and a bit tea-like quality from the mate note in here. So orris concrete will give the fragrance a bit of powderiness. And then of course we've got the rhubarb and then also the crisp apple to give us a kind of a juicy fruitiness in this particular fragrance as well. Eventually the fragrance sweetens up a little bit and then becomes earthy and sweet in the dry down. But man, this is a great fragrance as well. It smells fantastic. It's fresh, it's fruity, it's floral, it's fun and playful. For me, it's not as invigorating as the first one. Remember I said it was like wakes up your senses if you need some waking up in the morning and things like that. This one does it as well, but for me, I felt like Tangerine Boy with its juiciness and its sparkling effervescence just totally woke me up. But this one will do it as well. But for me, I experienced that more with the Tangerine Boy. But a really fun and fresh fragrance. Once again, both of these fragrances are going to be perfect for summertime wear. If you like, you know, fresh fragrances to wear in the heat of the summer, those will be perfect for you. All right, up next we've got a solar floral fragrance from Phlur called Phloria. God, I can hardly see the text on these bottles, sadly, because they got dark writing on them. I think the bottles should have had white text to match the caps. I don't know why they did the dark. With my bad eyesight, I can hardly see the text. But either way, Phloria is the third fragrance that I enjoy with this one, and I like its trail a lot. A couple times I had just gotten my hair cut, and I didn't wear the hat, obviously, and I'd spray it in my hair, and this thing would last for a long time, which I really enjoyed. It's a floral fragrance, very white floral. It has some citrusy touches, and to me, it's got a solar note or a chord that's been mentioned in this particular fragrance, but also I get a kind of a beachy tropical vibe with it as well, which I quite like. And I didn't really care for a lot of tropical fragrances for a while, which kind of bordered beachiness, but this one's quite delicious. It's featuring notes of bergamot and lemon, wet greens, cyclamen, ylang, golden gardenia, jasmine, sambac, tuberose, vanilla, skin musk, sandalwood, ambrox, and cedar. And of course there's this solar accord in here. At least I get that from the fragrance. It definitely has that kind of a quality, a bit beachy, a bit tropical, a little suntan lotiony. Could be coming from the ylang because it's a tropical fruit. Definitely has this kind of creaminess in there. But for me, it starts fresh. It definitely has some greenness, and then it starts becoming very floral. The jasmine, sambac, and the gardenia, the tuberose, and the ylang shines a lot in this one. It does get musky and creamy in the dry down, and then the ambrox, it has ambroxan, so I think it's because of these notes the fragrance did linger on quite a bit, which I liked. It gets woody in the dry down, musky as well, but for me it's a very white floral with a little bit of yellow floral thrown in. And as I was saying, I get a bit of beachiness, some solariness, sun, and then also some tropicality or tropical touches in this mixed in with the white flowers. I think it's a delicious fragrance. Either way, Phloria is the third favorite fragrance from Phlur. The fourth fragrance from this house is Somebody Would, this one right here. So Somebody Would is a creamy sandalwoody fragrance that I think a lot of fans out there do enjoy sandalwood. Are you a fan of sandalwood? And this one definitely is very sandalwood forward with some creamy vanillic touches of muskiness in there as well. A bit leatheriness as well, because we've got saffron in here, and saffron seems to be a bit prominent next to the sandalwood. And so it creates a kind of a leathery accord. But it features notes of bergamot, there's lemon, jasmine, saffron of course, cyclamen, sandalwood, vanilla, musk, amber, fir, moss, and cedarwood. For me, out of all the fragrances here, this is the longest lasting, but sometimes I get bored of sandalwoody fragrances. I don't know why, that's why I'm putting it here, but for me, if I was to rank these from the most intense, this is the #1 fragrance. But I really enjoyed the 2 citrusy ones that I put at the beginning of the video, because I really enjoy citruses once in a while. But here we've got a very cozy, creamy fragrance with the sandalwood and the kind of a vanillic touches, and of course for me the leatheriness that develops into it, and you do have like a combo of a vanillic sandalwood, which is very, very creamy, smooth, and then you've got this leather that's developed in there as well. So it for me, the citruses up top, I should also say, didn't last too long, because since the sandalwood is so prominent, instantly you get a boost of citrus and then it starts becoming sandalwood. It develops and becomes stronger and more potent. Eventually that sandalwood carries through till the dry down, because it is a base note after all. And you know, it's a fine fragrance. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy the other ones a little more, and as I said, maybe I'm bored of sandalwood a bit lately, but either way, Somebody Wood is the 4th fragrance from Phlur. And last but not least, I have decided to put Missing Person here at number 5. Missing Person is Phlur's version of not a perfume. So if you get this fragrance thinking you're going to smell stuff, you're probably not going to smell it. It's basically a personal scent. It's a skin scent. It'll mix with your chemistry and create its own kind of aroma. So you're not going to have major projection, not going to have a big cloud sillage that's going to be left in the hall when you're walking by or leaving in the elevator. That's not the kind of fragrance this is. For me, it's for those folks, just like my sister who's a nurse would wear something like that because she can't wear heavy fragrance. But you can also use Missing Person as a layering tool. I think it layers really beautifully with Tangerine Boy, and also really beautifully with the Lost Cause here. For me, I felt it was a better match with Tangerine Boy, because I like the combination of the creaminess with the tangerine, almost like an orange creamsicle. But before I tell you the notes, it's created by Constance Georges-Picot, I think is how you say her name. I'm not too familiar with a lot of these perfumers except for the perfumer for Tangerine Boy, which is Jerome Epinette. But Missing Person features notes of skin musk, bergamot nectar, sheer jasmine, fresh cyclamen, neroli blossom, orange flower, sandalwood, Australian blonde wood, white musk. It's very, very clean, it's very creamy, smooth, powdery, and you have light, very, very light touches of some flowers in here. Very, very light, just to kind of like balance out the fragrance. But for me, it's mostly a skin scent, musky, clean, powdery skin scent, and that's why I feel like it'll make a great fragrance to layer with a lot of these fragrances, because you need, for me, I would also say it's like a primer or an enhancer, so you can layer it down, let it dry, and spray the other fragrance on top. If you're having issues with some fragrances lasting, this will create that layer of fragrance that's kind of like stuck on top of your skin, so when you put down the other fragrance, it'll cause it from drying faster. At least that's the case with me when I use these kind of fragrances to kind of like enhance or boost my fragrances. So you need that extra layer to kind of like dry, and then you can put the other fragrance that you want to make last longer, you know, to do that with. So I think you can use this 2 ways. If you're a person that hates fragrance but you want some kind of a skin scent or something that's really close to your skin, you can use it that way, or you can also use it as a primer, as I said. But on its own, I think it will make a great bed scent if you don't like heavy bed scents, or if you're just a person that likes very light fragrances, you work in kind of an environment that you can't wear fragrance and things like that. It's very close to the skin, so somebody has to get really, really close to you to smell your fragrance. And of course, also it'll be enhanced a little bit with your own body chemistry and things like that. So Missing Person is the 5th fragrance, but it does have a lot of different things you could do with it, as I said. So those are the 5 fragrances from Phlur I'm talking about today. This is a fairly new brand for me. I hadn't really discovered it prior to the time I'm doing the video here, and I like the fragrances. I wouldn't say these are like groundbreaking fragrances or anything like that. They're sold at Sephora. It's niche, but it's kind of like very mass niche. I've smelled fragrances like these before, but man, I'm in love with Tangerine Boy. Really, I really think it's great. I just want to put it all over me and wear it when it's hot outside. Even though I'm enjoying the cold of winter, I think that will be a perfect summer fragrance. Really, really wonderful. Juicy all the way. As I said, just imagine you squeezing that tangerine and it's dripping everywhere because there's so much juice in that tangerine. Anyway, that's what I get with that Tangerine Boy. So check it out if you guys can. And let me know if you're a fan of these fragrances. Let me know if you have sampled these fragrances. Are there any other fragrances that you recommend from Phlur? Do let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.